Guys, I'm outside and it's pretty loud in here. I don't know if you're gonna be okay with me doing the vlog here. It's probably not the greatest quality of the video, but I really like to sit here. I don't want to spend my time. Ugh. It is so loud. It is so loud outside. But anyway, I'm gonna be answering a few questions to my subscribers. If you haven't subscribed on my channel, you need to subscribe and click that notification bell. Click that notification bell so you will get notified every time I upload new content. I usually like to upload nursing contents, my days in and out in the hospital, my experience or my nursing journey, CNA journey. How did I prep for the Ielts, which is one of the questions right now that I'm going to answer. Yeah, a bunch of things, whatever I like. I upload whatever I like. So anyway, it's my off today, and I'm gonna be off for the next 10 days because I filed some pay time off, and part of it is I'm off on those days. So first question was, where was that? First question is, what did I use for the IELTS review? So if you're a new subscriber or if you haven't subscribed yet, there is actually a video that I did probably 2 or 3 years ago with my experience with TOEFL and IELTS and on how I prepare for that. It's a thorough, detailed video that you really need to watch, and I'll link it here. But just a quick answer on that. I use for my speaking, so first is I keep on taking the TOEFL exam and I failed 3 times. The reason why I took the TOEFL is because I really don't wanna basically talk to a real person because I'm not confident, and I was a little nervous to speak to a native speaker. So I chose TOEFL because you're basically just gonna do a computer adaptive exam. So you're just gonna face a computer, and the interviewer is like a computerized, I don't know how it's called, but it's basically like an AI person, not even a person, like you're just listening to a certain questions. So I did that and I failed 3 times. So after I failed 3 times, I got really even more aggressive, and I said, like, fuck it, I need to face my fear and talk to a real person for the speaking test, because I know that I can speak well in English. I know that. I mean, I'm not really bragging, but it's just I'm not confident. There are times though that I need to process my thoughts and try to understand what's the person talking about, and it's because of the language barrier, because I'm not an English speaker. I'm from the Philippines, so of course there's a language barrier still, and my English is not perfect as well, unlike the others that are great in English, but I could understand. Anyway, the 4th time I took the English proficiency exam, I finally chose IELTS. IELTS is the same thing: reading, listening, speaking, and writing. So the speaking test is different. You can either talk to a person in a computer or talk to a person in person. So I chose the type of test that I could speak to a real person in person, like in one room, like an interview. So I did that because I'm already desperate, because I was trying to prepare for my NCLEX that time, and I couldn't go through with my paperwork with CGFNS if I wouldn't pass the English proficiency exam, because in the state of Missouri, that is one of their main requirements for foreign educated nurses. So the only problem at that time is I couldn't take the IELTS in the state of Missouri. I keep on trying to look for places or testing areas. I couldn't find one. So I did go to Tennessee. That was the only, it wasn't the closest. I could go to Chicago, but I don't really like to go there. So I went to Tennessee, and me and my husband decided to have a vacation trip prior to taking the IELTS. So I wasn't working at that time because I quit my job that time because I was so stressed. I used to be a CNA at a long-term care facility, and I quit because I wanted to focus on my IELTS preparation. So I went to Tennessee in Murfreesboro, and that's where I took the exam, and I finally passed. It wasn't that bad. Like, I mean, I heard a lot of things that the IELTS exam in the Philippines is way more difficult compared to the IELTS exam here in the States. According to my friend, like, the way she didn't take the exam here in the US, but the way she took the exam in the Philippines, she explained it to me. The questions are even more harder during the speaking test, but in my case, it was just easy. It seems like I was having like a very carefree interview, and I could talk freely, and I didn't even think that it was an exam. Of course, I was nervous, but I was basically comfortable during the exam. And my speaking score was, I think, 8.5, I believe. Yeah, 8.5. But anyway, how did I prepare for my IELTS? Because I was desperate, and I used to work in an ESL school before in the Philippines. Like, what do you mean by ESL? English second language. So it's a Korean school in the Philippines, and I used to work there. And I do have some workmates that teach TOEFL and IELTS. So I asked one of my previous coworker, which is a trained IELTS instructor. I asked her if I could avail her classes, and basically she told me it would be enough if I would prep for the IELTS for 2 months, and she guaranteed that I will pass. So she does have her own flow on how she does her classes. So we only use Skype, and we mainly focus with writing and speaking with her, because I mean, with reading is, it's basically like you could practice it by your own, and you could watch a bunch of videos on how to do it. The only matter of fact with reading is you need to read fast enough so you will be able to accomplish or finish the task. But with speaking and writing, you really have to think a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you have to think on what to write and what to speak. So that's the reason why I focus on writing and speaking with an IELTS teacher. So there's that. And I think I paid 400 pesos 400 pesos only. No, it's not 400 pesos. It's for a total of almost $500. Sorry, $500, I guess. It was 400 something, so let's say if I round it up, it's $500. But it's okay because I paid her by day. She does her classes by day, and she needs to be paid by her daily rate. It's not an hourly rate, so it's a daily rate, and it's expensive, but it's one of those investments that you really have to suck it in because you need it, and it's worth it anyway. So other than that, I also have used some free YouTube channels for my listening, reading, writing, and speaking. So it's Fast Track IELTS, which is, I'm gonna link it down below too. Fast Track IELTS. I think she is somewhere Russian. I'm not sure, or Asian, but I think she's Russian. My coffee is not that warm anymore. I probably need to warm it up. So she's also really good. I think I practice more on her listening and reading. And then she does have a few topics for the speaking as well, which is great. So I used her too. The best speaking channel that I use is IELTS Dragon. I'm not sure where is he from. I'm thinking he is Indonesian, or I'm not even sure if he is Filipino. He mainly focus on speaking and the way how he does his channel is he's gonna give you a speaking cue, and then you're gonna answer it, and he's gonna give you time to answer it, just like you are speaking to a real person. So while I was doing that, let's say I'm using the treadmill and I'm answering his questions, during my time off with, because I told you I have an IELTS teacher, but only have our class for about 2 to 3 hours, and for the remaining hours I still try to review for, use other resources like IELTS Dragons. For listening, there is IELTS material, and listening is easy. Like, for me, it's easy. It's not really a big deal. It's just a matter of how you spell the words and how fast you write. So yeah, another channel for listening that I use is Crack IELTS with Rob, and I bet he does have a lot of stuff too. Like, you could also practice your speaking, reading, and listening. So a recap is, I use my friend as an IELTS instructor, and we basically review for 2 months and focus on writing and speaking. The second one, I use IELTS Dragon mainly for speaking, and the other 3 channels is Fast Track IELTS, IELTS Material, and Crack IELTS with Rob. So I hope that helps. So next question, guys. Guys, I had to warm up my mushroom coffee because I talked too much and basically kind of cooled down. How much is the Simplify NCLEX? Oh my god, I love Simplify NCLEX. They have you ever checked them out on Facebook? Because they always have these promotions. Let me see what's their updated promotions then. Are you Filipino? If you're Filipino, it's good for you to, enroll for the NCLEX preparation. But if you're not Filipino, I guess it's still okay. But however, sometimes they speak on our language, Filipino language. So just to give you a heads up. But they would speak in English. It's basically a bilingual. The proctor or the instructor would speak in English, and at the same time he switched it to Filipino language. So how much is it? Right now, they have the end of the month of June sale. So how much? It is 50% off. So from 4,999, it's 2,600. That's cheap. 2,600. On my time, when I paid it, I think it was $47. So $47 in Philippine pesos. Oh, it's about the same for 2,658. Yeah, it was cheap. It is cheap. Very cheap. Get it. If you're from the Philippines, get it, girl. You will pass. If you want a thorough review, you really need to avail for a review center. There's so many in the Philippines to choose from. If you're confused, go to Lefora. It's a Facebook group where a lot of nurses or healthcare, mainly nurses, that are in there to basically ask questions and answer your questions. So that's a good group to ask if you are confused, you know what I mean, on what to use. But there's INAP, there's Amplified, there is Simplify, NCLEX RN, which is my favorite and which is where I pass, which is the cheapest one. So go there, okay? My god, it's really loud in here. Like, everybody's mowing their grass except us. My husband's so tired. He's sleeping right now because he just got back from work. Tomorrow's the 4th of July and we're basically off. I mean, I've been on paid time off and my husband is not working tomorrow. So if we have any plans, nothing. God, the mosquito. Anyways, I'll be answering some of your questions, guys. So there's one in here. She's asking, or she's basically using NCLEX High Yield and NCLEX Bootcamp. And she's wondering if Simplify NCLEX RN, the one that I've used for my review, if it helped with my concepts, and she thinks that that's basically what she needs to focus with. It's so loud in here, and there's so a lot of mosquitoes. Guys, I went to the basement to see if I could vlog there, but the lightning is just not giving. So I went back outside. Hopefully I'll be done before the AC start to make some noise again. It's still noisy out here. Let me pull out that question. I was using the NCLEX high yield, and she's asking if the Simplify NCLEX RN is kind of worth it if with concepts, because she wanted to focus with concepts. So you know what, Jessica Alisa Ariola. Okay, so you know what, Jessica, to be honest, I really think that Simplify NCLEX RN was very helpful when it comes to concepts or content, because as far as I could remember, like, I mean, I wouldn't probably give you all the details, but during the exam, I really feel like all the topics that he have discussed, or Sir Choki that have discussed, actually, you know, came out. And the way how Sir Choki explains the pathophysiology is you would really understand about the disease process. So when you, let's say for example, I remember that I have a case study regarding about renal disease. I do remember that I do have a question or a case study question related to renal disease, and a lot of questions regarding the electrolyte imbalance, including the potassium. So I have understood that concept from Sir Choki's, I think he's a doctorate too. So I have understood that concept, and I wouldn't be able to answer those questions if I didn't, you know, without the help of Sir Choki or from the team of Simplify NCLEX. So you said that you were using NCLEX high yield. So I don't know if, like, did you like fully use their program? Like, did you pay for a subscription so you could do all the access, or you just basically use the free resources from NCLEX high yield? So I think if you have paid them, and I know that they were so expensive, I really think they're a good source too. But if you want to venture out a different platform or a different review center, when it comes to my experience, I would really advise you to go to Simplify NCLEX RN. Like, you could access it everywhere. It's unlimited access. You could always access your lectures. You could even like increase the speed. So, because mostly, like, there's a different season. I started with season 3 because I think that was the first concept that they have. So the first season, I mean. So I started with season 3, and then when I moved to season 4, some of the lectures are about the same. However, there are some new or little bits of inputs that just to update the season. So if you just keep on listening to Sir Choki's lecture every day, daily, you would be able to absorb it. So I really think when it comes to concepts, Simplify is the #1 source for me. So I mean, it's really cheap. Like, if you really want an additional resources, and I really think you should, you know, buy some Simplify. You should subscribe. Is it subscribe? Or you should try to check them out, message them on Facebook, check their promotions. They do promotions every month or weekly even. Just check their Facebook account. So yeah, I hope that helps. So let me know also if you really like it after you purchase it. If you have other questions, let me know either. Another one, this is from Street Gaming R8Z. For incontinence patient, hospitals still use adult diaper or they use chalk pad? Well, it really depends. Like, there are times that we use pull-ups diaper for a certain patient. Sometimes, especially for those patients that are able to, you know, they could still ambulate, but they have problems with incontinence, so it's better to use the pull-ups diaper if they want to. It really depends. It depends on the patient. Like sometimes they are still coherent and they know what to do, so they still prefer to use their regular what do you call this, underwear or undergarments, and then we just put a pad, especially for women patients. For patients that are I am moving to a different spot. So anyway, I'm still at the backyard, by the way. So where are we at? So for patients who are basically dependent or bedbound, you can either use those diapers that, you know, like those kind of diapers that you could basically open them, and it's easy for you when you roll the patient, it's easier for you to put them on. But there are times as well that we just use chalk pads for patients. It really depends. Like it depends on the situation. So you could still use the three kinds: the adult diaper that are pull-ups, diaper that are like, I will find a picture and I will link it here. I mean, I think you probably know what the diaper looks like. So basically, you can open it up and there's like a wings and you can flap it, and then a chalk pad. Yeah, mostly. I mean, in the ICU, I've noticed that a lot of the nurses use chalk pads, and I think when it comes to like, especially with patients with a lot of bed sores, and they use those type of beds that are air pressure types of bed. So we use chalk pads. Chalk pads are not direct treatment for bed sores, but they can basically help or prevent the bed sores from keeping them dry. Because like, especially for incontinent patients, they can basically, you know, just like a diaper, it could basically keep the bed sores dry. And aside from that, chalk pads are really thin, so it wouldn't have like, if you flatten them, basically it would avoid some, what do you call that, farther damaging the skin. So yeah, so I hope that answered your question. So this is Yoni Og Yoni Og Mahal 2023. So she's asking, ilang months po kayo nag-aral ng CNA at ano po yung requirements? So basically she's asking how long did it took me to study for the CNA and what are the requirements. So I actually have a separate vlog about CNA, about my CNA journey, and you could actually watch it, and I will link it here. But just a quick recap. So how long did it took me to basically you know, complete my training for the CNA and get certified? It took me about 6 months. So in Missouri, it says it's between 4 to 12 weeks. And how many hours? It could range to 50 to 75 hours in a classroom setting, and then the remaining hours, which is 100 hours, would be your clinical practice. So all in all, it would take you for about 4 to 12 weeks. But if I'm not sure if you're in the US or if you're in the Philippines, so let's say you're gonna apply for a job for a nursing assistant. Let's say you're not certified yet and you wanted to get certified, and you wanted to get certified without paying a tuition fee. And the easiest way for you to do that is basically look for a job in your area. Like what I did, I just searched for a nursing assistant position, and then I told them that I am a nursing graduate in the Philippines, and basically I do have a background about the healthcare, and that's how they hired me. So they basically provided me the program for free. It was stated in the contract that I have to complete 1 year working in the facility, because I think I have to pay them, or they are going to take out the bonus that they gave me for my paycheck. So yeah, it's even really good because it's just for a year. But anyway, so they did provided me the program. I went to their facility every Monday for a classroom class with the other students, and then it took us 6 months because we only go for classes once a week, and then the other days is I am working. And then once I completed those hours in the classroom, then we did the clinical, which is 100 hours at our works, at our facility. So while we're working, they kind of counted that as one of our clinical experience. So yeah, I hope that helps. So it's kind of really easy. But if you are a nursing assistant already in the Philippines, or you are working in a healthcare facility, and I think it's easier for you to do the transition from to being a CNA or a certified nursing assistant. Because in my case, in Missouri, and I live in a smaller town, basically they just hired everybody even though you don't have the experience. So as long as you attend the program within the facility and you get certified, so they're not very that strict. And I do have a friend here in YouTube that you would probably need to follow to subscribe, and his name is Tito Bap. You have to follow him because he is a CNA, and he's currently transitioning from, I think, a CNA in a facility. I'm not quite sure where he started, but now he just got a different job as a CNA or a PCT in a hospital setting. So he might be able to give you a lot of update, stuff regarding the CNA, because he's currently working as a CNA right now. I don't really know a lot of updates about the nursing assistant because I am a nurse now, but if I do know something, that I would probably be able to let you know. There is a lot of opportunity here if you wanna really go to the healthcare part of occupation or profession. There are a lot of things to choices, like for example, if you want to be a phlebotomist, you want to be an EMT, like work in a emergency ambulance. You could also be a respiratory or an respiratory therapy. You could also do radiologist, stuff like that. So there's a lot of things, not only nursing. But since I already finished my classes, or I got my degree in the Philippines, and that's why that's the reason why I pursue my nursing career. So I hope that helps. It's so pretty today, like really, 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 really pretty. Happy Friday. Bye.